Welcome back. Now, while India holds steady on fuel stability and as tensions in West Asia continue to escalate, Pakistan, however, seems to be spiraling into an economic chaos, as yet another massive fuel price hike has triggered anger on the streets of Karachi. Normal life that has been disrupted and long queues and protests are now being witnessed on the streets. Petrol prices have gone up to a staggering 321 Pakistani rupees and also 458 rupees per litre, which is around Indian national rupees stands to around 152. Similarly, high-speed diesel, which was earlier selling at 335 rupees Pakistani rupees, is now at 520 Pakistani rupees per litre. That amounts to approximately 173 rupees in Indian currency. That has now delivered a crushing blow to the already strained households in Pakistan. With back-to-back price hikes and soaring utility bills, this increase now adds pressure to the cash-strapped nation already grappling with high inflation. Daily wage earners, drivers and commuters in Karachi say that their survival itself is now under threat. As anger builds on the streets, here is what the Awam of Pakistan is saying.
देखिए जुल्म अवाम के साथ ये अवाम जो आए रोज मर रही है यहाँ कराची में या पाकिस्तान में लोगों के पास नौकरी नहीं है। लोग 25,000 30,000 हद 35-40,000 की नौकरी कर रहे हैं। तो अगर वो 460 रुपए का पेट्रोल डलवाएंगे तो अपने घर में खाना क्या खिलाएंगे अपने बच्चों को, अपना घर कैसे चलाएंगे, वो अपने माहाना खर्चे कैसे निकालेंगे, और अगर वो रेंट पे रह रहा है तो घर का किराया कैसे देगा। तो ये एक जुल्म अवाम के साथ अवाम को जिस तरह लूटा जा रहा है, हुकूमत को चाहिए था कि अपना बोझ अवाम पर नहीं डाल दे, बल्कि आप कुछ बोझ अपने ऊपर भी लेते हैं, लेकिन आपने सारा बोझ उठाकर अवाम पे डाल दिया है।
पहले जो हमारी इस इक़्तिदारी हुकूमत है, इन्होंने जो अवाम को इतना बड़ा दचका दिया, पहले 55 रुपये लीटर बढ़ाया, जिस पर अवाम बहुत परेशान थी। ठीक है, अभी इन्होंने 137 रुपये बढ़ा दिया है। तो ये तो मैं कहता हूँ कि बिल्कुल नाजायज़ है। मुझे तो यही लगता है कि इंशाल्लाह ये 500 तक भी पहुँचा सकते हैं और 500 से ऊपर भी कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि इनके लिए क्या, इनके लिए तो कुछ भी नहीं है। खून जो घिसेगा ये तो गरीब आवाम का है।
Well, the administration in Pakistan may have heard these reactions because people are angry. Now they are planning damage control. Shehbaz Sharif cabinet seems to have announced that their leaders will forego their salaries for several months, announcing a 6-month pay cut. The reasons that have been cited is the steep fuel price hike, as Shehbaz Sharif seems to have been declaring that all cabinet members will forego their salaries for the next 6 months. The new price have now been effective from today onwards. Well, Srinjoy, Pakistan wants to play the role of a mediator. How embarrassing.
Well, even this cut in salaries of cabinet members, it's a bit of a fig leaf. Because if you look at the Pakistan economy, there are 2-3 things that have to be kept in mind. Number one, the economic restructuring that should have taken place years and years ago has never happened. Secondly, land reform, which happened in India right after independence or shortly after independence, has never happened. Thirdly, a lot of resources are taken away officially and unofficially by the defense establishment. So if your economy is weak in any case, and there are these basic problems to be dealt with, like high defense expenditure, the fact that there is huge inequality, the fact that there is very little land reform and so on, then if there are further shocks to the economy, then it becomes very difficult to deal with. So what happens if 30 people in the cabinet do not take their salaries? What difference does it make to the economy per se? Because what currently is necessary is probably petroleum subsidies. But the Pakistan government has no money for subsidies.
Absolutely.
So things are as bad as they are. Then clearly the ordinary people have to suffer. And because they are suffering,
well, this grandstanding that Pakistan wants to do and fancy itself to play the role of a mediator, well, first it should look inwards as far as how they will deal with the issues at hand. Because Shehbaz Sharif seems to be outlining the reasons behind the steep hike, but now it is being said that for Sindh and for Punjab, a certain rollout has now been given out for relief to the people of Pakistan. But as you mentioned, because Pakistan already seems to be in bigger trouble there, Shinjoy, because then who will repay those millions of dollars of loans there, billions in actually, because this is something that the UAE is now demanding, that the full payment must be done by Pakistan. The return of nearly 3.5 billion US dollar, the UAE debt is now before as far as this deadline by month end, and Pakistan has decided to return 3.5 billion US dollar in debt to the UAE before this end of this month. However, this seems to be another round of pressure that is now building on Pakistan, Shinjoy, because this is a cost that the country that they bear, says is willing to bear with so-called national dignity. But this is something that even what Pakistan deems as brotherly nations, when it comes to money at the end of the day, well, they will be wanting a full repayment.
Well, the UAE, let's be fair, has faced enormous trouble over these last 35 days. They have been attacked. Their economy also faces serious challenges, because if you're being attacked, then there are problems. There is no tourism, the markets are shrinking, all kinds of things are happening. The oil is not going out, goods are not coming in. There is a little bit of inflation in the UAE, quite naturally, because enough goods are not coming in if the Strait of Hormuz is blocked. So these things have to be kept in mind. And therefore, let's not forget the UAE also. It needs a certain amount of resources. And $3 billion for any country, think of any country, for $3 billion for any country is a substantial amount of money.
Absolutely. And it's asking, as far as these loans are concerned, Pakistan needs to make that full payment, because these funds were said to be part of external financing support that the UAE lended back in 2019 to help stabilize Pakistan's balance of payments. But completely Pakistan is off balance as of now. Thank you very much, Injur, for joining us here on the broadcast. We'll reconnect back after a very short break. You're watching Times Now.